Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Cookiecast. Today on Cookiecast, it's the Darkest Timeline podcast, so it's me for the day. There'll be games, there'll be movies, there'll be some gym, and I'm sure something from the last week. So here we go, this is Cookiecast, the Darkest Timeline podcast. Right then.
Hello. It's Cookiecast, Darkest Timeline podcast. I'm your host, Cookie. You know the drill by now. There's nobody else here, it's just me. I just had one of those phone calls, you know, where your phone starts ringing and you're like, well, hang on a minute, nobody ever rings me. And it's a number that you don't recognise. And you look at it and you're like, yeah, I'm not answering that. So you just end the call. And then you get a text message, oh, you missed a call from me. No, I didn't. Ended the call. Just ended it. Didn't. Because it's going to be some scammer of some kind. Or it'll be like, you know, a phone provider trying to sell me something. No, I thought that was going to be something from the phone call, but no. It's just a reminder to do something that doesn't need to be done. Just to keep you in the loop, I'm that tired that I've drunk an energy drink and I've just opened another one, literally back-to-back energy drinks. So, just going to have a little... Oh yes, pure energy. Definitely nothing that'll kill you in there. Right then, let's get cracking. Probably going to be a shorter one this week, if I'm honest. And to be fair, there are a few things on the list, but I don't think that those things will take long to talk about. So let's crack on anyway. I needed to do a bank thing the other day. I needed to set up a series of payments to pay some of my share stuff. So I needed to set up a payment for each of them, which resulted in me needing to set up a standing order. Is that it? I don't think it's a direct debit, I think it's a standing order. I had to make 2 phone calls to get the information because some of them are from 2 different providers. None of that's important. So, finished getting all the information I need. Went onto the banking app on my phone. I was like, right, let's get these payments set up. Went through the process of logging into the banking app. Got so far. Make a payment to this people. These are the details. If you're going to do that, you need to maybe have... you need to do like a verification. Like, okay, that seems strange. You know, I've made payments to people before. Why do I need to do this verification thing? Got so far through the process, it was like, you need to do this online. Like, well, you know, I'm at home, the computer's there, it's already turned on. It's not a massive hardship. It would be nice that I could just do this here and now through the banking app. However, nobody died, so let's do it through the online banking. Right, okay, so firstly, login. So I'm like, now then, this is a bit sketchy because it's not like a username and password kind of login. It's like a verification number. Like, don't know if I know that. It was very helpful and was like, your verification number is these combinations of things. I was like, well, I know some of it. I can muddle through the rest. Logged in. Then it was like, right, now we need to verify you are who you say you are. I'm like, cool. I'm pretty sure I can do that. So it was like, give us these pieces of information. I'm like, okay. This bit of information, this bit of information, this bit of information. Got through that section. So I'm like, cool. Now I need to set up a payment. So went to the set up a payment section, setting up a payment, and I'm like, right, okay, so what I need to do here is put the information, the account name in, put the account number in, put the sort code in, do those bits. Cool. Went to the next section. It was like, oh, you might be asked for verification to do this. Like, might's a pretty strong word. I might not at the same time. Let's go with that. Oh, yeah, you might be asked for verification. I was like, well, let's see how this one plays out. Went through another step. It's like, oh, yeah, you're going to need to do verification. I'm like, why? Because let's not forget, at this point, I've tried to do it on my banking app, which only I can get into because it uses facial recognition. So there was that. Then it's like, no, you got to do it online. So I had to go to the website, log in, then use a verification number, then use a series of other, like 2 separate different pieces of verification to get past the next step, and go to the bit I wanted to and set up a payment. Bearing in mind, I could have probably just transferred all the money out of the account if I'd managed to get that far and I wasn't legitimate. Yeah, you're going to need to do verification. I'm like, why? Why at this point? So it's like, the way that you need to do verification is you need to use your bank card. I'm like, okay, and this machine. I don't have one of those machines. If you've got any problems, ring us. Like, right, okay, let's give that a try. So I phoned them. Oh, we're experiencing high call volumes. All I can ever think to that is, so put more people on the phones. Oh, you're very important. Your call's very important to us. We're going to get to you as soon as possible. The call's not that important. You didn't answer it straight away. Sort of deal. Anyway, lovely young lady. I say lovely young lady. She could have been a horrible old lady for all I know. A person who was a female, who sounded young and seemed quite nice on the phone, answered. Hi, how can I help you? Sort of deal. I was like, all right, okay. Oh, I'm going to need some verification. Can you give me 9,000 pieces of verification? Yes, I can. Here we go. Okay, what is it you want to do? I just want to set up some payments to pay money out of my account. I've done it before, but now it's telling me I need to do verification. Oh yeah, you need to do verification. Cool. I don't have the thing that I need to do that. Okay, we'll send it to you. Okay. How long will it take for you to send this to me? Because I'm kind of trying to do this now. Oh yeah, it's probably going to take 5 working days. Wonderful. I'm like, right, okay. On the thing it said that if I phone the number, maybe something can be done over the phone. Oh, I don't have the level of verification to do that. So now, the lady that works for the bank, she needs verification to be able to do what I'm asking her to do. Even though I've verified myself, she doesn't have the verification she needs to be able to do that. Maybe if you go into the branch, they could help. I was like, yeah, I was thinking maybe if I go to the branch, they might be able to help me. Because, you know, this is quite ridiculous. Yeah. So there we go. A series of verifications needed, none of which exist, to make some payments. This is the digital world that we live in, ladies and gentlemen, where every single person is a fraudster. And what I mean by that is, me trying to make a payment out of my bank account, I am a fraudster. However, any fraudster, anywhere, can literally just go, yeah, I'm going to take some money out of your account. So there we go. That was just a little, a baffling situation that at the time I was like, gotta make some kind of comment on that one. As it has been recently, I've generally been commenting on the weather because, I'm that age now where apparently the weather's important. Was it last week? I was like, oh, summer's back. It's actually been really nice. We are getting the back end of the summer, I think. It's officially autumn now. But somebody said we're getting the tail end of a tropical storm, I think. So last night the rain was bouncing. It's supposed to be thunderstorms and stuff, but I think when they forecast a thunderstorm, it's generally when they haven't got a clue what might happen. So it's like, oh, we haven't used thunderstorm in a while. Stick that up, see if that gets people's attention. So yeah, the window is not open. It looks pretty dull out there. Very much like this conversation. Not super lots. Not a large amount to talk about this week. I've got some TV stuff, movie stuff, and some game stuff, and then the usual sort of finish. Might as well just get cracking. Finally finished the Amazon Prime series, The Boys, which I imagine there's not many people out there don't know of The Boys by now. It's been very popular. I'd watched, was it 8 episodes? I'd watched 6 of them, sort of back to back, and then just did not have the time to dedicate to being able to watch the last 2 episodes. Everything seems to be very busy at the moment. Not sure why that is. It's just feel like there's not a minute to scratch things that might need scratching. So yeah, just sitting down for an hour to watch an episode of something isn't always possible. So it's taken me a little while to watch the last 2 episodes. I had 2 days back to back where I managed to watch like nearly all of one episode, and then the next day I watched the end of that episode, so that was like episode 7, and then I watched half of episode 8 in one go, and then over the course of the rest of the day, in like 3, I think it took me 3 attempts, I managed to watch the rest of the last episode. Fantastic series, really good. If you're a fan of things, I've been reading comics since the 80s. Don't massively read them as much now. I read the odd graphic novel here and there, and that's probably about it, really. But I've been reading comics since the 80s. So, 20, 30, nearly 40 years, this is hands down the best time to be alive if you're a fan of superheroes, anime, anything that, geek culture, I suppose, is what it is. Not just because every second movie that gets released is a Marvel movie, because there's the alternate stuff. So really looking forward to eventually when it gets released to buying and watching Brightburn, a horror take on the Superman story. James and his brothers, James Gunn and Brothers Guns, have made that, and it looks great. So these alternate takes on superhero things. The Boys was, I want to say, Garth Ennis. How's the best way to confirm that? Again, these are the bits of research that I should do before sitting down to record, but hey, I know that they managed to get a second series like immediately after releasing Kripke. Yeah, Garth Ennis. And yeah, I mean, I should trust these things. Written by Garth Ennis. I believe the comics were done by Garth Ennis. I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes. And if I'm wrong, fuck it. Once again, it's an alternate take on the superhero genre. The world believes that superheroes are born and raised, and then they go on to be superheroes. There's a group that sits at the top of a company. The company's Voight. And the superheroes that sit at the top of that are the Seven. The story's sort of set at a time where one of the Seven retires, they need a new one, so one of the sort of storylines is around the newest member of the Seven. And then there are other characters. At this point in time, I am feeling a little bit like I'm teaching my granny to suck eggs, because I imagine most people will have seen The Boys or know of it, or, but I'm just going to try and give a brief overview for anyone who doesn't or anyone who hasn't watched it yet. Then there's like a group of people who think that the superheroes are not the best. They're, I don't know, not a good influence, or they're not what they're made out to be. Like anti-superheroes. And there's like a couple of main characters in this group, and then there's like sub-characters. And it's just, not all superheroes wear capes, and not all superheroes are good, and that sort of a story. Done by Amazon, so doesn't have to conform to TV ruling, swearing, violence. A few of the episodes I watched said that it was like, it's full of gore and nudity and sexual scenes, and then you watch the episode, it's like, no, not really. But you got to cover yourselves, I guess. So The Boys, fantastic series, really good. Another one of those, I felt a little bit like when I watched Breaking Bad. I watched the first two series and then didn't watch any more. Because although I enjoyed the first two series, I was like, I'll come back to it. Fully intended to come back to it, and never did until it had finished and everybody just raved about it. Went back and watched it from sort of series 3 onwards and just binged it, blitzed it, whatever. And it was just fantastic. Felt very much the same with The Boys. Having watched 6 episodes, I'm like, this series is great. To watching the last 2 episodes and being like, wow, those last 2 episodes are proper, like, game-changing episodes. Couple of things a little predictable. They've got this. There's a story running all the way through for the Billy Butcher character, who's played by Carl Urban, which is like a mystery for so long throughout. And then they reveal big chunks of this mystery, typically in the last 2 episodes. As they start revealing more and more of that mystery, and naturally it becomes less of a mystery. And I got to the point where I was a bit like, I know where this is going. I know what the quote-unquote twist is going to be. It's no surprises. Wasn't wrong on that one. Although, having said that, there was a couple of surprises at the back end. A very how do I not spoil it? A very gruesome back end to one of the stories. Just fantastic TV viewing. It is certainly a great time to be alive if you're a superhero fan. Super excited with the fact that they've got another series. And I think with things like this, and with something that is a success, and they want to get straight on it. I know that they were filming immediately after release because they got the green light for the second series, and that hopefully means that they're going to be able to get it out pretty quick. Some of Amazon's programs are a little bit Well, like the main one I'm thinking of is Preacher. To me, I know people have various different opinions of it, but to me, Preacher was done really badly. It was really far away from the books while simultaneously being very much like the books. Which is obviously very contradictory, but like some of the casting in Preacher was absolutely nailed on. The guy that plays Cassidy, who was in Misfits, he is absolutely nailed on for that character. Absolutely bang on. Whereas a lot of other castings, main character castings, completely wrong. She called Tulip, the woman playing her, who I believe was also in Misfits. She is terrible in that role. Some of the worst casting I've ever seen. And the guy that plays Jesse, damn it, what is his name? Dominic Cooper, who's obviously been in various different films and things. There are times when I think he does well. There are other times I think he was a really bad choice for that role. The first series, like the first episode and the last episode of the first series were really good. The rest was awful. The second series was terrible, and I think I gave up after that. Although from what I'm told, it does get better. But I know it's been cancelled, and I think that they're just wrapping it up, which, from what I saw, was the best thing for it. So Amazon has programs like that, which not great. A good source material done badly. Whereas The Boys is a good example of something that is done right. Another series that I can recommend, an Amazon series that I can recommend, is Hand of God. Thoroughly enjoyed that series. Ron Perlman at his finest. I'm watching a film with Ron Perlman in at the moment. I'm not going to talk about it this week, but I'll be talking about it next week. And so far, it's not great. Very much hoping that it picks up. I seen a trailer for it a while ago, and I was like, "Oh, that looks interesting." You know, I always enjoy Ron Perlman's work, but yeah, so far not great. So anyway, if you are a superhero fan, or if you're not a superhero fan but want to watch something that is very gripping, check out The Boys on Amazon Prime. Right, I watched the film, just the one this week. I don't know if I mentioned it last week or if I kept it as a surprise, but I watched Creed 2. I've enjoyed, I'm a fan of the Rocky movies. The first one's great. It's got its place out there in the world, and so is the second. I always felt that the Rocky films picked up from 3. So 3 and 4. It was 5. Was 5 the Tommy Gunn one? Because if it was, that one was where that series probably died a little. Rocky Balboa was okay, but what I'm going to come to is sort of the Rocky Balboa stuff onwards. Obviously, we've had Rocky Balboa, then Creed, and then Creed 2. So, again, I can't imagine anybody doesn't know, but for anybody who doesn't, Michael B. Jordan has taken the role of Adonis Creed, who is the son of Apollo Creed, from the first few Rocky films, 1, 2 and 3. Which is the Clubber Lang one? I thought the Clubber Lang one was 3. So it might be 1, 2, 3 and 4. Yeah, that might be right. So, at the time that they did Rocky Balboa, it was a very... what I would sort of say is like a touchy-feely movie. You know, the bulk of the Rocky films was a lot of the boxing, the training, the montage, and then a little bit of like Rocky and Adrian, Rocky and Paulie, Rocky and his kid, Rocky and whoever. So there was a little bit of heart to those movies, but the sort of the feel of it was always, oh, you know, he's gonna train for this, and then there's gonna be a fight. I think often it's like he'll train, or somebody will train, there'll be a fight, somebody will, you know, lose the fight, and then there'll be a sad point, and then there'll be more training, another fight, he'll ultimately win, everybody walks away from it happy. Round about the Rocky Balboa point, and you know, the series probably, if it was going to continue, needed a bit of a revamp, because the like Rocky 5 had kind of killed that franchise because it was terrible. It was all feels. It was a very, you know, let's talk about our feelings, and oh right, yeah, we've got to go and box sort of take on it. Then years later we get Creed. Michael B. Jordan comes along, takes on that role. Sylvester Stallone still playing Rocky, but takes on the sort of what would be the Mickey role, the trainer, the coach. You know, he's got the experience, he knows how to do it, he knows how to win fights because he was the champion and that sort of thing. But again, there was a lot of feeling in that movie. And I'm not... I think when you're sitting down to watch a Rocky film, you kind of want the training, the montage, the fight. I think a reason that the first one, like the first Rocky, is the way it is because it's a long film. I'm pretty sure the first Rocky runs like 2 hours or something, and it is equally split between a guy who wants to fight the world champion, you know, the world boxing champion, and a guy who's starting a relationship with the woman who will be, you know, the love of his life, the mother of his child, so on and so forth. That's kind of fine. It's a little... it feels longer than it is kind of film, but it's great. It gets the ball rolling. The second one is very much there's the way it feels, and there's the training and the fighting. And from there, they sort of hit a formula. There needs to be some montage, you know, even Rocky had a montage. And there needs to be some training and fighting, and do the things that we're good at. So the later films, Rocky Balboa, Creed and Creed 2, have come back to the formula of let's put all the feelings in, you know. Let's have this guy, and he wants to marry the girl, and at the same time they're going to have a baby, and let's put all that in. The training montage in Creed 2 was like, it went by in a blink of an eye. It was like, he's training like this, he's fighting this guy, he can't beat the guy, oh now he can beat the guy, oh now he can train properly, and with him. And it was like, wow. Okay, I guess we're on to the fight. So, it was what it was. Something that really stood out for me, and because it really stood out, it became a big detractor for me. I'll try not to spoil it because I'm going to talk about the end. At the end, for the big boxing match, there's like various different shots of like the arena, lots and lots and lots of people are there, and the ring, and the fighters are coming out, and there's people by there, and I was like, okay. Now, I'm pretty sure the story goes like this. When they did Rocky Balboa, before a big fight in Vegas, they announced to the crowd, we're going to be filming some of the new Rocky movie. So you all get the opportunity to be in the new Rocky film as the crowd. So, lots of cheering, lots of shouting, that sort of stuff. Get into it sort of thing. So they could film a real crowd at a real boxing match and sort of hijack that. When they have the boxing at the end of Creed 2, they've obviously fallen into the trick of, we don't need a real crowd. We don't need we don't need to hijack a real fight and film some of it. We'll use the method of getting... Hitchcock used to put like 16 people right down the barrel of the camera to make it look like a massive crowd. That sort of stuff. They used that for when like the fighters are coming out, so it looks like there's loads of people there. They've obviously used some stock footage of a fight. I don't know, just a fight, to show like the massive crowds and stuff. The rest of the time, they've CG'd the crowd. And it really stood out. It was really off-putting. I think it's that thing that CG done well is CG that you don't notice. Whereas bad CG, you really notice. Chris Nolan made a big name for himself because of the fact that he doesn't like to use CG, and if he can get away with not using it, he will do. People enjoy that. People get a lot out of that. Practical effects are still being used, and that's great. For Creed 2, they were like, no, let's just CG it and do a bad job of it, and it was so noticeable. Like anytime they were like showing a bit of the crowd, you could just see that it was like really bad CG, and it was really off-putting through the back end of that film. One of those, story was fine, the acting was fine, it was nice to see the return of people from earlier in the series of films. Things like that. A little bit too feels for me. Too much talking, not enough pictures, as I used to say. I'd like to have seen a bit more of the training and the fighting and that sort of stuff. I feel that's why we're tuning in for a Rocky movie. Do we need to know what this boxer thinks and feels about this? Is that the movie that we're tuning in for? Would be my question. It was fine, it was watchable, it was enjoyable. But yeah, I don't know, I kind of wonder whether... Certainly feels like Sylvester Stallone is stepping away from his franchises. There's sort of something at the back end of that where it sort of alluded to maybe he won't be doing any more of those films. I know that he's wrapping up the Rambo series with Last Blood. About time for a lot of it. I know that Last Blood came out last week and has had particularly bad reviews. Can't win them all, I guess. So that was the movie I watched. Like I said, I'm watching another movie, which I imagine I'll be reviewing this time next week. I have got a couple of movies that I do need to watch. I've still got films from like my birthday and stuff. Actually, no, that's not true. The film that I've got to watch, I think I've still got from Father's Day. So it goes even further back. It's just time. Just time. Right, let's talk some games. Still into the VR. I haven't played it. That's one of those, isn't it? Still very much into it, but I haven't played it. No. Playing a lot of VR. However, for something I'll come on to, haven't played it for the last day or so. Picked up Beat Saber. It was a game that I wasn't overly sure that I would ever end up getting, because of just, I mean, it's VR Guitar Hero, and I did the Guitar Hero thing when Guitar Hero was big. But I did get a demo. Few of us played the demo, and it was a bit like, it's kind of a party game. And one of the things about VR, about having the Quest and things like that, it's definitely a party feel to it. So it's kind of a, yeah, let's get a party game. We've kind of got a bit of an in-house competition going at the moment. Setting high scores left, right and centre. Something that I think is enjoyable for the whole family, and something that's good to, have a little go on or have a few goes on. I've seen some videos recently of people. I saw a video the other day of a guy setting a world record on Beat Saber, and I think that just means that he was number one in the world for that particular song. But wow, I don't know if it's just many hours of practice, or if that is really good reflexes. But it looked super hard. It's fun. Still playing Robo Recall. I'm trying to get all the challenges done on that. But obviously, you get all the earlier challenges done quite, not easily, but you do them naturally. So now the challenges that I've got left are the harder ones, but I'm trying to get all the upgrades for all the guns. That game is just top notch. Anybody ever gets the chance to play a bit of VR, and that is a game that's an option, jump all over it. It is truly what gaming should be. Still waiting for a game called Arizona Sunshine, which is a zombie survival shooting game. It's supposed to be the first sort of VR Quest. Well, it's out on other VR platforms, but the first sort of VR game that's got a proper story and a proper campaign to it. Looking forward to that. If it ever gets released, it should be out by now, so that is a little bit of a concern. Yeah, never got on with Super Hot. I think I already talked about that. Did the International Space Station game. Couldn't get on with that because it gave you a thing to do early on, and I just couldn't do it. So I kind of stuck on that. But I think I covered that. Some of the stuff that I've been into recently is the VR experiences. I downloaded a few of those through one of the apps on there. First one hands down, had to be Lego Batman. Loads of fun. just loads of fun, that one. Like proper official Lego Batman, voiced by Will Arnett and stuff. Just fun, just a fun 5 minutes or so. But there's other ones like you go through the cosmos from images from the Hubble telescope, and other things. Just cool experiences. They're things you can do sitting down. It's more of a watching experience and things like that. When on the, is it called big screen cinema? Very interesting concept. Basically, you can go and watch films. Like, films are playing at all times. The downside is you don't know what films are playing when. I believe there might be websites out and about where you can look for certain films. But there's like a fight channel and it's all presented in a cinema, so you're like sitting in the cinema watching. I went in the fight one the other day and it was showing a martial arts movie. There's like a couple of anime ones. There's a Bond one, so you can go and watch Bond films. Unfortunately, when I went into the Bond one, it's one I've seen recently. One of the old Sean Connery ones. Action movies and things like that. There's a lot of stuff centered around socializing. There's also like TV channels. They had an NFL channel. When I went into that, it was like I don't know what it was, but it was Chad Ochocinco talking about how he met his girlfriend or something. So loads of stuff. It's a really interesting concept. Certainly one to keep an eye on as time goes on, because it seems to be very much there's a lot of development going on for it. I know it's designed to be around the social aspect. You can sort of go and watch films with other people and interact with other people. Played a little bit of poker. That was a bit of a laugh. It was quite fun, actually. I won $500, which means literally nothing because it's not real money. But I won that in one hand. So that was kind of cool. What else? What's some of the other? I go on the app and it sort of gives you like every day. It'll give you a daily update. Like, so yesterday I went on it and it was like, oh, there's a new app for you to download. I was like, cool. Something to do with puppets. Haven't looked at it. Don't know what it is. I think it's one of those that as time goes on, I'm hoping to play more. I'm hoping to review more. Still thoroughly enjoying it is my review at this point in time. And I think there's a lot on there that'll keep things going. So that's VR. So the reason that I haven't played any VR the last day or so is because I got Borderlands 3, which if I'm honest I was a little unsure about getting. I've been a big fan of the first Borderlands and the second one. Didn't really get into any of the offshoots of Borderlands. I'm sure I played one at one point that was like a freebie on like PlayStation Plus or something, and I really didn't like it. And then I know that they did a lot of the was there a lot of Telltale games? Tales of the Borderlands, was it? Didn't do any of those. When Borderlands 3 came along, there was a little bit of trouble at one point. Some guy had posted a video online. That's what he does. He's a YouTuber. Posted a video, and the FBI turned up at his house. And the people that make Borderlands had sent the FBI after him because he'd posted a video of unreleased footage, and they wanted to know where he'd got the footage from and stuff. Seems a little extreme. I get it, but it does seem a little extreme to me. Bearing in mind that this is what this guy does for a living. So there was this whole boycott Borderlands 3 thing, people like a hashtag for it, and people trying to stop people from buying it to show the company that people weren't down with that. A lot of people I know were big into the idea of getting Borderlands 3. Issue I had was, I played the first one a lot. I played the second one and I played the second one a lot. What I found as I went through those games, playing them again is a bad thing for Borderlands. I had this conversation with Stu when he came to do the wrestling podcast. You should play Borderlands and Borderlands 2, and I presume Borderlands 3, and never play them again. Because when you play these games again, you see all the flaws in them. I'll get this wrong, but a lot of this is just an example. I'm pretty sure when the first one came out, the big selling point was 1,000,000 guns. So in that game, there was 1,000,000 guns. Now, I know these days the number of 1,000,000 gets a bit watered down. Seems to be like, 1,000,000. Like, if I won 1,000,000, I'd still be going to work on Monday. That sort of thing. But 1,000,000 is a big number. So there was 1,000,000 guns in Borderlands 1. And as I always say to people, and only 3 of them were any good. Because the thing with 1,000,000 guns is that not all of them are going to be great. Not very many of them are going to be great. If you go back and play that game again, you'll find that very few guns you ever pick up are better than the one you have. Oh, there's 1,000,000 guns, but how many of them did you ever use? How many times did you ever change your gun? I know from experience of playing these games, the answer is not very often, because whatever you pick up isn't very good. The 1,000,000 guns thing is, it's just stuff that you end up selling. I don't know, that's a part of the game. You sell guns to make money, to get more money, to buy better weapons, to buy better upgrades. But it's also things like your grenade mod is never very good that you pick up, because the one you've got is better. Same with your shield. All the guns you get. So that was that. I know that people have told me that the Borderlands experience, much better experience, played with other people. As I'm sure you guys know, that's not for me. I know that since Borderlands 3 has been released, there has been an issue with the split screen, so people have been struggling to play it 2-player. I think they said that they were going to sort that out straight away. Borderlands 2 comes along, played that game a good few times, exact same thing. So Borderlands 2 comes along, it's bigger, it's badder, it's whatever, 4,000,000 guns. Alright, 4,000,000 guns, and again, only 3 of them are ever any good. And that is an exaggeration, and I presume you know this. Very few weapons in the game are ever any good. Then you start noticing other things, like you spend the majority of the game running backwards because you come up against enemies that, the bullet sponge thing that gamers don't like. Enemies take far too much damage to kill. You're always on the back foot, you're always running backwards. Bosses are a nightmare. I've got a boss situation in Borderlands 3 that I tried and I couldn't do it. I looked it up online and the videos online were like, here's an easy way to do it. And then you watch the videos like, nope, that ain't going to work. Oh, I know a lot of people are saying that they can't get past this, so they've given up on the game. Oh, that sounds super positive, doesn't it? I tried it, realised that the boss was like 2 levels higher than what I was. So I was like, what am I doing? Went away, did a load of other missions, came back, still couldn't do it when I was 2 levels higher than the boss. At that point in time, I left the planet. Anyway, Borderlands 3 comes along, and it was if you thought 4,000,000 guns was a lot, how about 1,000,000,000? And it's like, do we need 1,000,000,000 guns when the majority of them won't be very good? It's a concept that I'm like, how about you give me 10 guns, but every time I pick a gun up, it's better than the one I've got? How about that? Or how about you build a system that if there's 1,000,000,000 guns, the system knows what level I am, and will, when I pick a gun up, will always give me a gun that's higher than the level I am, or the same level I am, so that I can use it. How about that? It's the other thing that I don't like about the weapons in Borderlands is you've got a gun and you get used to it and you're like, right, I've got this shotgun and it fires like this and it's got this many rounds and it's got this, that and the other, and I'm down with this shotgun. I've picked up a new shotgun and it's more powerful, it's got a particular damage type, it's got better accuracy. Oh my god, it's great. But it's only got one shell. So every time you fire it, you have to reload it, and it takes forever to reload. So the gun is better in absolutely every possible way, apart from the fact that it only ever carries one shell and it takes forever to reload. Right, I'll go back to my other one then, shall I? That's the way that Borderlands plays. So, the review of Borderlands 3 goes like this. Not my review, because I haven't finished it. The review of Borderlands 3 that came out was this. Borderlands 3 has changed absolutely nothing from Borderlands 2 or Borderlands 1. And that's a good thing. And I went, is it? Pretty sure there's a lot about those games that could be changed to make them better. Alright, 9 out of 10. 10 out of 10. 9.5 out of 10. Nearly 10 out of 10 were the reviews. And I'm like, really? So our review is, yeah, this game is absolutely identical to the one that came before it. And that's fine. 10 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Got a little bit further down the line and I was like, you know something, I don't remember the last time I turned a console on. I've been hammering the VR. And I was fine with that. Got to the point I was like, kind of need something to play, like, you know, sit down console based game. And for all of that I've said so far, I do enjoy the games. I do enjoy the Borderlands games. You know, like I said, play the first one loads. Play the second one more. I've owned like 3 different versions of the second one. I'm pretty sure I owned it and then traded it in. I owned it again, and then I'm pretty sure I got it as a PlayStation Plus game. I'm just looking in the pile of games to see if I still owned the second one. I don't think I do, because there was a point where I purged my games of anything that I had on PlayStation Plus. And at this point in time, I don't have PlayStation Plus. So I don't think I own Borderlands 2 right now. So I do enjoy these games. I enjoy them. And that is why I got Borderlands 3. Because ultimately, I do enjoy them. We're not spoilt for choice with games. At the moment, you know, this has been hands down probably the worst generation of games. I have been still enjoying Astral Chain. Oh, I said it. Another one of those. Time is a factor, so I don't have a lot of time to be able to play games as it is. Let alone turning the Switch on and actually playing that. But when I do have the opportunity, I play it and I enjoy that a lot. I've got 4 of the, I don't know what they're called, 4 of the monsters now. I've just got the one that's like a big dog. That's super cool. You can ride it. That's a lot of fun. So far, Borderlands 3 has been an enjoyable game. Has exactly the same issue as the others. Some of the things I don't like about it, the driving mechanic is annoying because it's different to every other game that has driving in it. You push forward on the stick to go, you pull back to brake. It did say that you can change the controls if you want to. I'm a bit of the game has told me to play it this way, so I will try my hardest to play it the way the game wants me to. I feel it gives the correct experience, and I've got used to it now. But to start with, it was like, oh man, why have you done this? That boss that I can't beat is annoying. But I work on the principle I'll just keep going back and trying. Hopefully he will stay at his level and I will just get better. I picked to play as a woman who's got a giant robot that you sit in and you use the giant robot. I was kind of expecting an upgrade to have come out. You know, you get upgrades for anybody that doesn't know, and I was hoping that an upgrade that I had previously in the other games, where you activate your special ability, it gives you all your health. Haven't seemed to have found that upgrade yet. Some of the upgrades are a bit weak. I think that's probably to do with the fact that you've got 3 skill trees, so they've probably had to spread it out quite a lot. But yeah, it does feel like the upgrades are a bit weak. It's like, oh, shall I get this or this? It really doesn't matter. Played a little bit earlier, killed a boss. Not the boss I can't kill, obviously. But yeah, so VR is good, still enjoying it. Borderlands 3, I'm enjoying that at the moment, for what it is. And Astral Chain is good. Got some games on the horizon. Don't know if I want to talk about that now, because a couple of them I don't know if I'm going to get. Money's an issue, and obviously as we head towards the back end of the year, there's those things. So one of those things that we don't talk about at this point in time in the year, but the back end of the year gets expensive. I've got birthdays and things to deal with as well, so I have to pick my games very carefully. So I don't know. I don't want to go, oh, I want to get this game because it looks really good, and then not be able to get it. But that's that sort of games kind of done, really. Last, but by no means least, is to talk about, I don't know, what would you call it, health and fitness? I don't know. Diet is doing that thing again where I'm not losing weight. I'm stuck in the same 3 pounds. So today, stepped on the scales, had a cheat meal last night. So as you'd expect, step on the scales this morning, gone up to the 3 pounds. Some days I'll step on the scales, I'll be like, oh man, I've lost 2 pounds. Some days I step on the scales like, oh man, I've put 2 pounds on. Some days I step on the scales, it's like, oh, there's no change. And then every now and then it's like, oh, look, those 3 pounds have gone. Great. Yeah, as far as the diet's concerned, it's fairly easy to do, like the no carbs thing. But as I've said before, not easy to do when it doesn't have the results. So need to do something about that is the short version. As far as the gym's concerned, still going. On average, I'm hitting the 5 times a week. Sometimes it's made more difficult by certain factors. Podcasting, sometimes it's like a late one when we do like the podcast and stuff. Sometimes there's more than one podcast in a week. Average week is 3. Obviously there's a lot of coding that goes involved along with that, so time gets tight, but on average I'm hitting the 5 times a week. Have been a bit naughty recently because I have been increasing my weight that I've been lifting quite a bit, but you get stuck in that kind of, you don't just want to be lifting the same weight, because then like the diet that doesn't do anything, you're not doing anything, you're just maintaining. So I have increased what I've been lifting quite a bit, but on the other hand I've also been increasing my running quite a bit. That method that I've been using where I do that, the 5-minute cool down and run in the 5-minute cool down and add that up, means that run that I've been working on is getting longer, the distance is getting further, calories burnt is going up. There's been a couple in the last week where I've gone with full intentions of doing the full run, and instead I've done half of it, or last night I just didn't have it in me, so I just did like a run and then called it a day. One of the issues I've had recently is that the gym's getting busy at 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night, nearly 1 o'clock in the morning. There's a lot of people there for that time, which I've never really had to deal with up till this point, but it's just getting more and more people seem to be turning up. What can I say? I like it when the gym's empty. I like it when there's nobody there. I like to be able to just get on with my workout and not have to worry about people or looking ridiculous when I'm quote unquote running on a treadmill. But yeah, there was a couple of nights last week where it was busy, and I mean like busy, like the car park was full when I turned up, and there was people in and out through the entire time I was there. Yeah, a very strange thing. But, you know, happy to report, still going to the gym, still doing what I need to do. Obviously the downside is that it's not working the way I want it to. So, as I always say, probably need to look at that and address why that is, and maybe do something to give it a bit of a kickstart or a boost. Slight change to the diet and a slight change to the working out routine is probably on the cards, I think. So there we go. That is basically it. That is the Darkest Timeline podcast for this week. Let's check the time. Not that it matters, because I'm going to be knocking it on it. It's, every single time I'm like, oh, this will be a quick one. And then it's, an hour, as it is now. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for keep coming back, for those of you that keep coming back. It's great. And until next week, I'm going to say bye for now, and I'll see you then. Bye.
So there you go, what do you think of that? Another one in the bag, another week gone, another week closer to whatever it is you're looking forward to. YouTube watchers, make sure YouTube subscribers, like, share, comment, click for notifications. Everybody jump over to the Cookiecast.com, send us some love from over there with our social media feeds and our email links. So there we go, another one done, and until next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.